Welcome to this month's edition of Outlook Video, your nationally recognized, award-winning show for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered communities. I'm Roberta Gonzalez-Gregg, and I'm glad to be back for this month's show.
And I'm Tom Smith, and I'm so glad you're back, Roberta.
Yes, it looks like I should have kept those training wheels on my bike a little bit longer.
An extra week.
Okay. On our first segment for this show is my interview with Luane Beck, filmmaker and director of the documentary God and Gays and the lesbian romance film Intentions.
Well, now my mind is running wild, Roberta.
As it should be.
A young gay man in Switzerland fills the emotional void of his turbulent sex life with dreams of self-betterment and transcendence of his perceived inferiority to others. When a casual but tender encounter with another man presents the promise of emotional connection and validation, the challenge of this prospect places a 20-year-old at one of the most crucial crossroads of his life. Raymond Donald Hong explains more in his film review of Garçon Stupide from Picture This Entertainment later this half hour.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And Aaron Bruno brings us the Castro's letter to our Governor Schwarzenegger.
And to complete the bookshelf lineup of this month's show, we'll return to Roberta. Is there life after retirement? You bet there is. And for the details, Roberta will be interviewing Sue Dibble and Nadir Shabahangi, visionaries of the Rainbow Village, a retirement development for the LGBT community.
I never thought of myself as bookends.
Well, you mean a pair? I meant a pair of bookends, but, never mind.
Let's not go there.
Let's get started with Roberta's interview with Luane Beck.
Good evening, and welcome to this segment where we honor the diversity of people in our community, people like us. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining us, Luane Beck, who is a director and filmmaker, and the director and filmmaker of a documentary that's out, or that's in the works right now, called God and Gays. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a story that discusses the struggle of Christians primarily, coming to terms with their homosexuality because of the church and, in some cases, the Bible.
Yeah, well, for many people, God and gays is kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
It's true, that's true. But ironically, what we found through doing the documentary is people who have come to terms with their homosexuality, or people who are in favor of homosexuality, even if they're straight, have turned to God and focus more on their relationship with God. And people who are still struggling are focusing more on the Bible.
Well, it comes to mind of a bumper sticker that I see that says we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So I think this is something that touches all of us in many ways. And I think it's fantastic that you're bringing this to film. And now, in particular, this film, it doesn't necessarily say that there's a right and wrong. Tell us more what the film is trying to project.
What I'm hoping the film does is that it saves lives, literally. It used to be kind of figuratively helping people through the struggle, but through the process of making the film, we realized that there are a lot of people who are committing suicide over the issue or who have been bashed. So now that's the goal of the film, is that it gives people a chance to see that there's a lot of people that have been where they're at and they've made it through. And so they hear other people's stories. They hear other sides of the issue from reverends. We have some reverends who actually compare this struggle to slavery, interracial marriage, suppression of women, all in the past have used the Bible to suppress. And so they're saying, look, they've changed their minds in the past. Don't take a look at that and don't.
Do you feel as a filmmaker that this is a poignant subject at this particular point in time?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what's driving the White House.
Yes? Okay. And you also say that there's a group called Soul Force. Please tell me about what that group does with the community.
Soul Force is headed by Mel White and his partner. And what they do is they go and try to have a dialogue with religious leaders, some top religious leaders like James Dobson, which is the one we actually went and filmed. And they try to have a discussion, not about the Bible, but just talk to us, meet us, see that we're not these evil people that you're talking about. Meet my kids, talk to us about our families.
That's what I think is something very important about your film. It just doesn't show that people have these disagreements with each other, but they're really trying to work them out.
Right, absolutely.
Okay. And on a totally different frame of filmmaking, you have now a film out called Intentions, which is a romance. Every romance has a season. Please tell us now about this film.
Well, that's a story. The story's about a married college professor who falls in love with one of her female students, and how that has kids and everything, and how that affects her family, and how they both grow, both the women involved in the relationship grow. But the point I'm trying to make in the film is that it's all the same crap. Whether or not you're married to a man, or if you're in a relationship with a woman, if you're with the wrong person, it's not going to work. So I really show, I wrote the husband and the girlfriend the same. So the two women are having the same struggle within their relationships until they come together.
And this film was made a couple of years ago or longer?
I shot it in 2001, I believe.
Okay, but it's available out right now?
You could get it at Netflix, Blockbuster, Amazon.
All the regular places. Okay. And how long did it take you to make this film?
Well, we shot it for 23 days.
Wow.
23 very long days, about 18 to 20 hours a day. But, you know, I wrote the script before that, and we had some stage readings of it to make sure the script was solid.
You wrote the script as well, multi-talented. Okay. So you've been doing this type of work for some time?
Well, yeah. I started acting when I was 17, and then started directing stage and then film.
Do we have, besides God and Gays coming out in the future, what else do we have down the road maybe?
Well, there's a kind of a comedy cop, lesbian cop thing I've had in my head for a while, so that'll probably be next.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
Something I could laugh about after the last one.
Well, we've got two really good films to look forward to in God and Gays, and one we can see right now out at the usual places for renting. Thank you so very much for being on the show. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing these films to our community.
Great, thank you.
If our audience wants more information, take a look right now for the website for Luane Beck, which is on your screen. Thanks again.
Thank you.